an old reefer shed that belonged to the farm here, you know what I mean? And Lee made it into a race shop in about 1952. It's a pretty big facility, but it's not the modern structure that you see on all the shops now. But we still love it here.
But it worked.
It worked. It worked for a long time.
Coming back to Petty Enterprises brings back memories for me. I was their driver in 1994. Even then, I definitely appreciated the incredible history that was made in this garage. For Richard Petty and Dale Inman, it was family first, right from the start. Did you guys grow up together? I mean, what age did you guys really start hanging out as kids?
Probably, we probably laid in a crib together. His mother and my mother were first cousins, and I can't remember life without Richard Petty, you know what I mean?
So, I mean, you guys were basically, you could say it's cousins, but you really grew up as brothers.
Exactly, or yeah, for sure.
Lee Petty was a NASCAR pioneer and one of the sport's first champions. Richard, brother Maurice, and cousin Dale worked on Lee's cars as teenagers. When Richard took his turn behind the wheel, Dale stayed on the sidelines and tuned the wrenches. Did you ever have a desire to drive, and if you did you give it a shot?
No, and I'm being honest with you. I just didn't see tearing up somebody's equipment. You understand what I'm saying? I'm probably a better driver than Richard, but I was probably a little bit scared. Probably Lee would have let me try it if I'd have wanted to, you know, but I was always pretty well content to work on the race cars and make them better.
Here's the winner now. Going into victory lane, Richard Petty, a very popular driver.
I had to change the right front tire, and I've even jacked the car, I've gassed the car. I think I've done it all, but, and then as we got more people, it just became, they had to be a leadership role, and somewhere I picked that up. In 1967, we had such a great season. Out of the 48 races, you know the story, Richard won 27 of them, 10 in a row. And we had Maurice in the engine room and 6 employees. If you want to call it fun, I guess, but we were so busy, Wally, I'm not sure we had time to think about what we were doing. You know, it just, man, you know, there's a race here in 3 days, and we got this one race car. We got to get it ready.
Petty, the great Southern stock car driver, coming around now will take the checkered flag, an unprecedented third Daytona 500 triumph, making him a man among men in stock car racing, and now for the flag in his 120th career victory.
So it'll be Richard Petty, car number 43, 71 Plymouth, winning for the 3rd time here at Daytona.
You knew Richard was a good driver. What were your strengths? What did you feel that was your strength on this race team?
I think before we had all the computers and knowing where everybody was at and where they were running and all that, I mean, I think I kept up with who we had to beat and what their weaknesses were and where we would beat them and what time of the race we would beat them, and from that standpoint, and maybe adjusting to situations that turned up in the race, you know. So I don't want to toot my whistle, but you know, me and Richard Maurice and the people we had here, we surrounded ourselves with good, dedicated people here.
It's real important, a driver-crew chief relationship, as far as what he's saying the car's doing and what you need to change. Were you guys that close where it was just automatic?
He tells it like that, yeah. He says we got to think, and he said it was scary sometimes how close we thought about a situation and how close we came out with the same answer.
Petty Enterprises has closed its doors, but what happened here will never be forgotten. And even though the sport passed this place by, racing history will always remember just what Dale Inman engineered here. In my book, you're definitely a future Hall of Famer. When you see where this sport has gone, can you believe it?
There was years where they'd be small changes, and then there would be years where they'd just be leaps and bounds, you know what I mean? And of course, we signed with STP in 1972, and for the whole year it was $250,000, and that probably wouldn't even buy the pit box now, you know what I mean? And it's amazing when I go to the racetrack and they can change the air pressure 0.2 of a pound of air. We didn't have a gauge that would read within 2 or 3 pounds of each other, and I know you've been through some of those days. I still love going to the races. I mean, that's my passion.
Kyle Petty, you grew up obviously around both of those men. What was the difference of their personalities?
That's the trick. There was no difference. They were the same person, and that was, you know, where Richard would, where the King would start a sentence, Dale would finish it. Dale would start a thought, the King would finish it, and that clicked for so many years. Like he said, their parents, everybody was so close. They were just naturally close.
Larry, what did you learn from Dale Inman?
Well, there's no question. When you look at Dale Inman, and what I learned from him was the fact that hard work and dedication will pay dividends. We can talk about Richard Petty's 7 championship. We could talk about Dale Earnhardt. Not to dilute their 7 championships. That man has 8 championships. And I know this year, Lindsey, we put Bill France Sr., Bill France Jr., and 3 very notable drivers in the Hall of Fame, and rightly so. But when we start putting crew chiefs and great mechanics in that Hall of Fame, that's the man that needs to go into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, no question.
Hey, Dale Inman wasn't a better driver than your father.
Might have been. Those guys, but they
laid in a crib together?
Let me say this. Those guys should go in the Hall of Fame. Dale Inman and Leonard Wood and guys like that, before a lot of these drivers go in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to say that.
Fair point. All right, well, Kyle Petty, I think that you mailed in this question. It's because it's one of your favorite topics. The question is, how do you think Danica Patrick looked yesterday? That's thanks to a race buddy, Danica Patrick.
She looked great. She just didn't run that good.
I meant on the racetrack, gentlemen, on the racetrack. Get your minds out of the gutter. Danica Patrick returned to NASCAR Nationwide Series racing in the New England 200. It was a struggle after a wreck on lap 7. She finished 30th. Nationwide Series career laps leader Kyle Busch ended up taking home the checkered flag. Fans, keep up with all your favorite drivers and how they look by checking out the Nationwide Insurance on Your Side race review only on NASCARNationwideSeries.com. Stay with us. We will be back after the race. Hey, a cool tradition here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Fans that park in the RV lots carry their coolers in on wagons. They do that. They bring all their stuff in, and then they've got so much trust in this fan base that they just lean them up against the racetrack fence. Pretty cool, huh? Welcome back to Loudon, New Hampshire, where the 17th race of the season is about to get underway. Are you done texting yet?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff Burton.
Tweeting, sorry, not texting.
Yes.
All right. Jeff Burton has had a terrific weekend here. He's also won at New Hampshire Motor Speedway 4 times, more than any other driver. He gave me a spin around the track to show me just how it's done. Woohoo!
So they say that this, obviously it's a speedway, but they say that it races like a short track. Why?
This ain't no speedway. This track does not have a lot of grip. It looks wide, and it is wide, but if you really pay attention to the groove, then you can see it here. Look how much flatter it is in the second groove. It's just really hard to get the car to do everything you need it to do. It has the size of a speedway, but has the grip of a short track.
So can you explain this lap as you're going through it?
Yeah. Well, this corner, you can't see the corner because of pit wall.
Yep.
So you look for the braking zone at the numbers. Now you can see the corner. You're looking to enter a little high, but get to the bottom, and then you want to use a little racetrack. Just let the car come up just a little bit, because that helps your exit. Now you can make a little straighter line, and you can throttle up sooner. Some of the hard part about this racetrack is the visibility of being able to see where you want to be. You can't see pit road until you get right. Here is the first time you can see the pit road line.
Almost too late.
And there's the pit road line right there.
Oh, yeah.
35. I mean, that's why people say, well, why do people speed on pit road? That's why. It's hard. You can't just muscle your way around a straight track. You have to be precise. You have to be smooth, but you have to be fast.
You guys have had very, very good runs. We haven't been able to get that win yet. How do you assess your season so far?
The last 3 months, we've run great, and things have happened to us. And I don't lose sleep over that. I lose sleep over the things that we haven't been able to capitalize on.
Funny story, we took 1 lap around that track. My producer, Bert Bondi, knocks on the window and says, hey, Jeff, don't worry about going top speed if you need to. I thought Jeff was going to ring Bert Bondi a new neck, but they were all good because Jeff is such a good guy. This track has changed a lot since 2000. That was the last time when Burton won. Our expert, Larry McReynolds, won here in July of 1996. He did so with Ernie Irvin. He's standing by at our TNT off-track race car, or Torque, presented by Toyota. Larry, what are your keys to this race?
Well, yeah, Lindsey, when you think about this track, it has has the speeds of intermediate super speedway, but the handling characteristics of a flat short track. You have to keep your car rolling through the middle of the corner. Keep it turning all